These are the patch notes. Many of you may know that today we had a major patch for the game, for Marvel Snap, of course, and we are going to go over it, over every change that they made, and of course give our opinion and what we think about it. They say here, patch highlights. More tokens. Players who have not yet finished Series 3 will now earn 4 times more tokens than before, because now the box that used to contain 100 tokens now is going to contain from 200 to 600 tokens. So it's basically the same box that people that is Series 3 complete open up, you know. So now people that are not Series 3 complete are going to start to get more tokens. We went over this some days ago when they announced it, and they say that in the roadmap, and they said that it was coming with today's patch. Shop update. Cards can now be acquired from the shop in 2 different sections. Choose your card. Series 3 cards have been separated into their own shop section. Instead of purchasing 1 Series 3 card a month with tokens, players can now choose 1 Series 3 card to unlock each month for free. So save those tokens for Series 4 and Series 5. We talked about this already the other day too. Now you cannot buy Series 3 cards with tokens. They are for free now, but only 1 a month. And you are now obviously forced to spend your tokens on the Series 4 and Series 5 cards. So second dinner's idea of people not interacting with Series 4 and Series 4 cards because people were buying Series 3 cards is don't let them buy Series 3 cards, so they have to buy Series 4 and Series 5 cards. Of course, if you take away whaling and buying a bunch of collector's reserves, basically, you are, except for the people that do that, and except for the 3K tokens that they give you when you reach 500 level on the collection track and you unlock the token shop, you are basically getting the same amount of cards, but now you have 1K, what you would have spent on that one card that they are giving you, you are expending that card on Series 4 or Series 5 cards. So it is kinda of a side grade, a little upgrade, something like that. But it still feels weird because they have to do all this crazy bullshit because the system is flawed from the start. Brother, change the whole fucking thing. Don't release new cards into Series 5. But we have talked about this a lot, and you guys wanna hear about the balance changes, not this bullshit. But yes, this is the scenario in what we are in right now, and they say the token shop now contains only Series 4, Series 5, and Ultimate variants. So they didn't push the change they were talking about separating Series 4 and Series 5 from Ultimate variants and giving you a section with the card of the week. For example, today Negasonic Teenage Warhead comes out, and I was expecting her to have her own section so I can buy her immediately. So apparently they didn't push that change yet, and that is a bummer. I believe it is stupid because we wanted that change. We want each section for cards, for variants, and for the new card. Of course, people were expecting the section for the new card, brother, because they have been saying they are going to do this for like a month. Brother, how hard can it be to just give me the new card in the moment it comes out in the shop? How hard can it be, brother, from a coding standpoint? I don't believe it should be hard to pull off, brother. No EDA for that. Of course, there is no EDA for anything, brother. General updates. Negasonic looks sick. That is why I want to buy her. In 15 minutes, I am going to know if she's going to show up in my shop or not. General updates, seasonal series drop. So people are so focused on the balance changes because we have had a stupid meta game for the last basically 2 months that they forgot completely that there is a series drop, and series drop are cool, right? People want series drop. So some cards have dropped down to a lower series. Cards dropping from Series 5 to Series 4 are Zabu, Sauron, Shanna, Dazzler, and Shadow King. These are the cards that were released in January. So we have February and mid-March, like two and a half months to see these cards getting dropped from 5 to 4. Of course, the Shadow King is a little bit less, Sauron is a little bit more, depending on the week it was released, of course. And then from Series 4 to Series 3, M'Baku, Orka, and Atumma. And we have to remember that these 3 cards were introduced in Series 4 directly when the token shop was launched, like at the end of November or something like that. So this card had been at Series 4 for like 4 months or even more, you know. So they finally have descended to Series 3. Talking about this, the only card I was missing from these 3, M'Baku, Orka, and Atumma, was Orka. So when the patch dropped, Orka was immediately offered to me for free with this Choose Your Card Series 3 stuff. Since it was the only card that I could pull off, and they give you a Series 3 free a month, I got Orka for free, basically, without having to open a single box. So if you are a Series 3 complete player, this is an option for you, of course. When you tap on a card for more details during a match, the big card detail screen now features artist credits and card mods. So this is good, I like this change, but where the fuck is the badge? And don't get me wrong, I don't give a fuck about the first edition badge. Nobody does. Well, some nerd might care. But what I care is that they say they are introducing this bullshit like 3 months ago, and they haven't introduced it into the game yet. How hard can it be to just put a fucking badge in a fucking card, my dude? Brother. If people show no excitement for series drops, then maybe second dinner will change things, knowing there is no hype with cards dropping from Series 4 to Series 5. To Series 5 to Series 4, sorry. Even with the new token acquisition rate. Yes, normally the patches, when there is a series drop, people usually care about the drop. But I believe this drop is being overshadowed by the balance patch. But I'll be honest, when they initially talk about series drops in batches, I thought that there was going to be more hype behind series drops. And this is the 3rd series drop, and the hype behind each drop hasn't been what I was expecting it was going to be. And I am pessimistic about the game, and I thought it was going to be better. So for people that are optimistic, this must be catastrophic, you know. So maybe second dinner themselves didn't expect it to be like this. Maybe they thought that series drop were gonna be more hyped up, you know. But again, this series drop is overshadowed by the balance patches, of course. What I think they should do is separate them, you know. So we have patches that are more exciting, like when their season restart, that is when you give me the balance patch, and then we start a new season with a new meta game, and we are excited for the start of the season. And 2 or 3 weeks later, you give me the series drop, and that can introduce a little more nuance or stuff into the meta game, another patch that people are excited for, and then you maintain people excited for the game all month long. But they are, in my opinion, lining up the patches in a stupid way. They always say it is a technical limitation, but well, brother, that is a skill issue. Solve the shit. Hire engineers. I don't know what you have to do, but solve this bullshit because it is affecting your game, my dude. The series drop be featuring pretty bad cards, so no surprise there is no hype. That is another thing, of course. It depends on the cards that are dropping, because when She-Hulk dropped, there was hype. When Shuri dropped, there was hype. But now that nobody cares about Shanna and Dazzler, you know, and Shadow King, nobody gives a fuck. This is basically a forgettable series drop. But the next one, I believe, might be better, right? What is an but Kang was the card that everybody wanted, and Kang isn't dropping. What are the other cards? A statue. Nobody gives a fuck about the statue. And I forgot about the other one. So new card sounds for Thanos, Nimrod, Master Mold, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, of course, because it is the new card. And new location sounds for Morak and Bar Sinister. I like this. I have said already that Marvel Snap is one of the few card games that have all kind of crazy effects when you do stuff and play cards and whatever, and I like it. It is fun. Let's be honest, it is fun. It is not important for the gameplay, but it is fun, and we like it. Art and visual effects. The almighty Thanos now has VFX along with all of the Infinity Stones. A lot of people have been asking for this change for a while. People want Thanos to have an animation because the one that Galactus has is insane, and the one that Kang the Conqueror has is really good too. So people want Thanos to have an animation, and they release the update for the animation of Thanos in the patch that they nerfed the Thanos deck. Take it in the ass, my brother. So, balance updates. They say the unscheduled changes to Zabu and Silver Surfer make the metagame shift for the last month more difficult for us to predict, and we weren't able to make timely adjustments for technical reasons. This didn't happen only this time because of Zabu and Silver Surfer. This happens every fucking time because it happens with the leader, and it happens every time. You are always delaying stuff and always blaming technical reasons. So what do you have? The worst engineers in the fucking planet. Hire better dudes then, brother. What is this shit? You have to do things in a timely manner, brother. You are losing players. I guarantee. I don't have the data, but I guarantee that when they go on these streaks or not patching the game, they hemorrhage players, brother. I guarantee it. In that time, Thanos became one of our most dominant decks yet. His weak matchups versus Zabu and Surfer had really been holding the Mad Titan back. So they even, that is another thing. Not only they postpone stuff, but they sometimes patch off stuff that is, because it is late, it is out of tune with what the player is experiencing, and then they buffed Thanos last patch when Thanos was the best deck because they were patching a metagame that didn't exist anymore. So this is insane, my brother. So they are apparently fixing that shit, of course, too late. Shuri-based decks were another big winner here, and both of these archetypes have exceeded our tolerances for game balance. So yes, they have the data, and they say if a deck is winning more than X amount, they have to do something about it. These patch adjustments are aimed at restoring order and weakening each of them. So of course they are trying to nerf the Thanos deck and the Shuri deck, because they are obviously the most powerful decks on the metagame, and everything else is 3 tiers lower than that. We continue to explore updates and improvements to both our balance technology and our philosophy around the scheduling changes, and we look forward to sharing that with you soon. I am stupid with the reading today, boys. Card updates. Thanos from a 6'11 to a 6'10. So they took a little bit back. Well, a little bit, or I don't remember what power Thanos had before. But they took back a little bit the power. Now they had to bring it back because it was stupid in the first place, right? But not by a lot. I believe that 6'10 is fine for Thanos. Of course, you give me 10 plus more with the Power Stone. You have a 20 power Thanos. That is pretty cool. Nobody is complaining about it. I am fine with this change, of course. I believe this is the result of the monetization and development team being at odds. It feels like the game was balanced but releasing complete for monetization, which has forced it to rebalance and ruin the game. I can see that being the case, brother. I can see that being the case. They are not working together as closely as they should in terms of balance and monetization. I can see that being the case because, of course, the dude that is really good at balancing the game, maybe it is not really good at thinking about how to manipulate and exploit the player into spending money. That is another dude, right? It was 6'8 before, okay. So it is still above of 2 points, but we can argue that at 6'8 it was weak. So I am fine at 6'10. I am fine at 6'10. We increased Thanos' power in a previous patch that was built during a time when Sauron and Silver Surfer were suppressing the success of Thanos-based decks. We're happy to keep it at 9 plus power for Shang-Chi's sake, right, because before it wasn't Shang-Chi available at 8. But given his recent success, we thought it appropriate to pull back on that buff just a touch. This change won't dramatically impact the success of Thanos decks, as most of the strength in the stone is in the stone interactions. And that is completely true. Thanos was not, or is not, because we don't know yet if this kills the deck. We have to wait and see. But Thanos is not strong because of Thanos himself, but because of the stones and all the things that the stones do. And then we have a change for the stone. A Space Stone. Of course, this is one of the problematic ones. The other stone that people think is problematic is the Time Stone, the one that gives you extra energy. So we have here a Space Stone. It was on reveal. Next turn you can move one card at this location and draw a card. Every stone draws you a card. And then on reveal, next turn you can move one card to this location, draw a card. So I believe this is good because now you can't trigger Logio once more, because this is what people did before. They played a Space Stone on Logio and then they can move whatever and trigger Logio one more time because the lane doesn't get crowded. Now this can't be possible because you can move stuff out. You can only move stuff in. So this is a cool nerf for that interaction specifically, but I don't know how it can affect other scenarios, so let's read what they say in here. Developer comments, this is among the strongest stones in Thanos decks due to its ability to create bonus Logio triggers and disguise where strong cards might move. This change reduces its efficacy with Logio by removing the incentive to play a Space Stone itself for a Logio trigger, flattening the number of bonus trigger opportunities for Logio and restricting the strategy options for late game movement. Ooh, the strategic options for late game movement. That is the other thing that I didn't think about initially. Because now as the receiving player, you know that they can only move cards there. Before they could move anything else anywhere, and it was really hard to know what they were going to do. Now it is easier for the receiving player to know where they can only move cards there. So that is also another thing to have in mind. We expect this to reduce the tactical flexibility of Thanos decks and make them more fun to play against. Okay, this is cool. I agree with this. Of course, I agree with this. So they can play a Space Stone in a non-Logio location and then move Logio to that location to cycle. But with the sacrifice of leaving the Space Stone on field and not being able to cycle out the Space Stone more than once. Yes, it is harder to do the stuff. Of course, you can move Logio and trigger with other stuff, but it is a lot of setup. I don't know. Let's see what people do, right? People always find crazy stuff to do. No change to Time Stone is bad since it can still enable an early leech. Exactly. Time Stone is like a better Psylocke, brother. Psylocke is a 2-1 and a Time Stone is a what? A 1-2, something like that. And it gives you the same ability. So what is the next one? Quinjet now reduces costs to a minimum of 1. This is a big change, boys. This is a big change. You know why this is a big change? Because it doesn't affect only Thanos decks. This affects every deck that plays Quinjet. And then there were scenarios where you played Quinjet with something like the Hood and the Demon was free. You played Quinjet with something like, I know Maria Hill sucks, but I kinda like that you could play Maria Hill with Quinjet and the card was free for a bounce deck, for example. So now that isn't possible. The thing is, do I think it is bad that that isn't possible? I kinda don't, because other effects that make things reduce in energy are also capped at 1 energy, you know. So it was kinda confusing that Quinjet was an exception to that rule. Plus, we have to agree that cheating energy, it can be whether it is by a cost reduction or by a ramping up with energy, it is one of the strongest things that you can do in Marvel Snap. So limiting this to one maybe helps them in the design space for the future. So I can see this being a good change, because I know there are people going to say, brother, it was easier to just start the stones on the deck and leave Quinjet as is, because now you are nerfing other Quinjet decks. I understand that perspective, and of course it could be a solution, but at the same time, the other things that I just said exist. It is confusing that Quinjet is an exception to the energy reduction rule, and it prevents design space in the future, in my opinion. Time Stone is 1-1, but also has ability to draw a card. Yes, so it is a 1-1. And being a 1 cost means you can cycle it in and out with Logyo easily. Yo, I just had to stream at our usual time. It's been so long, Almao. The patch hit, yes. Yet, brother, the patch just hit, and that is why we are reviewing the patch notes, brother Exod. How you doing, my dude? And yes, we are at a good time today because the patch dropped and I had to do this, brother. Yo, Atomic, my dude, how you doing, brother? How you doing, bro? Everything is great in here, brother. So, what did they say about the Quinjet nerf? Cost reduction is powerful, exactly what I just said, and Quinjet was one of very few cards capable of reducing multiple cards' energy cost to 0. Well, we've enjoyed this interaction in some cases, such as the Hood Simon. Oh, I just said that, brother. Ultimately, it creates both an ongoing risk for future design space, as well as fueling the dominant Thanos decks of today. This change should be a meaningful net reduction in a set to Thanos deck across the board. So yes, it says exactly what I just said. The Hood Simon, they didn't say the Maria Hill one, but they aren't going to say every combo in the game. Ongoing risks for future design space, of course, of course. Red Skull! Oh, brother, I haven't read the change, but I didn't want them to change Red Skull, brother. I liked Red Skulls. The problem is Shuri doubling everything, and some people say, no, it is not Shuri, it is Red Skull. So I don't know really. But maybe Shuri will continue being bullshit and they are going to nerf Shuri too. And they tweaked my boy Red Skull, and I liked Red Skull, but I am getting ahead of myself. Let me read the ability. Red Skull, it was a 515 ongoing. Enemy cards at this location have +2 power. Now it is a 513, so a 2 power nerf, and they give you ongoing. Enemy cards at this location have +1 power. So it was 15 minus 8, 7, and now it's 13 minus 4, 9. In case you don't do anything. So as a standalone card, it is kind of above, because now it is a 5-9. It is the same as playing an Abomination in case they have a full location. So by himself, it is above. So I kinda like it. I kinda like it because I like Red Skull as a standalone card, not because of Shuri. And this is it could be said that this is above for him, right? But I don't know. Let's see what they say about it. And in case of Shuri, when you double it, it was a 30 minus 8, it was 22, and now it is a 26 minus 4, 22. So with Shuri, it is the same. But the interaction with Taskmaster or Arnim Sola is what changes here, right? Because you were giving a 30 Taskmaster, now you are only giving a 26 Taskmaster. So it is a nerf or 4 points. Don't know, brother, don't know. But there are a lot of times in a game that I have been really close with Shuri decks, because the +2 power that I give to the enemy is powerful, and I win by a little bit. So I don't know how this will impact it by only giving them 1 power, you know, and it is still 26 power that you are getting. We have to see this in practice, but I don't know how much this will affect the Shuri deck if they don't change Shuri. I can get a free card. What is this? Yes, you can get a free Series 3 card. By the way, now that you say that, I forgot to mention this, which is something really stupid. You choose your card for Series 3, but it isn't like you go and you choose the one you want and that's it. It is another shop where you have to wait 8 hours for the card you want to show up, which is fucking stupid. You are already waiting 1 month for the free card. Why the fuck do you have to wait more time for the card you want to show up? Brother, why do you create all this unnecessary friction with the player? It is like your mission is to piss people off. Eliminate this rotation bullshit. People are already waiting long enough to get this card. Let people get the card they want and that's it, motherfucker. In fact, the rotation shouldn't exist for the token ones. Imagine for this, it is even worse. That pisses me off, people. That pisses me off a lot because it is stupid. So let's see what they say with the Red Skull. Oh, yes, you can get a free card. Yeah, Red Skull is like that. They need that FOMO element for everything. But exactly, but what benefit do they get in that scenario, brother? That is what I don't understand. It is a free card. You are already waiting 1 fucking month for the card. Why do you need the 8 hours? It is not like you are getting money from that. Just to get people to log into the game. Is that so important, brother? What the fuck? So, this change is singularly aimed at reducing the strength of combining Red Skull with Shuri and Taskmaster. We mentioned Taskmaster. Outside of those interactions, this change is mostly above to the base case, which is for Red Skull. Because, let's be honest, without Shuri, people don't use Red Skull. There was a version that used Red Skull with Zero before Shuri existed. And you played Zero Red Skull, Zero Typhoid Mary. There was a Zero deck in that case, of course. And it was a cool deck. I liked it a lot, by the way. And now you have the Zero Shuri Red Skull deck, of course, when Shuri was launched. And it was a massive buff to that deck. But now Red Skull as is better, so maybe he can appear in some other decks, you know. Giving you 9 or 10 power at crowded locations rather than 7 or 9. Exactly. And if you can know where the opponent is going to have a stuff, you can play him by himself and he can be a lot of power. I only have 1 shop now. Dormy, they say separate shops. Yes, it is. For now, it is separate shops between the free Series 3 and the token shop with Series 4 and 5 and the variants. Apparently they didn't separate variants for Series 5 and 4 yet. They wouldn't do it if it didn't work, so maybe there are people that actually like this bullshit system. I believe they just do it so people go into the game and it boosts engagement metrics and it forces people to go over the shop because you have to go down and you see the bundle and you see the variants. So they just want people to look at the shop, Every 8 hours you are forced to go into the game and look at the shop. I believe that is the advantage it has, you know. 26 power is still a lot of power, and I think won't make that much of a difference. Exactly. You still have to snipe it with a Shang-Chi if you want to win, because at 26 power, it is still no other deck pushes that amount of power, you know, or that easily. Maybe you are Series 3 complete, Exod. Because you should have a free Series 3 card if you are not Series 3 complete. But if you are Series 3 complete, then they don't have anything to offer you in there. She-Hulk from a 6'10 to a 6'9, and I agree with this. She-Hulk was too strong, and I don't know if at 6'9 it won't be as strong. I don't know. But you guys know that I have always thought that She-Hulk was really good, and she was in a lot of decks. That cheating energy, as we have already said, cheating energy is a really good strategy or power or ability in Marvel Snap, and She-Hulk was really good, brother. Like and it is going to continue to happen because you still have that interaction, for example, where you play Wave on turn 5 and then you play She-Hulk plus something else on turn 6. What, 1 power less is going to destroy that interaction? I don't believe so. That is going to continue to be good, but of course it is nerfing She-Hulk that needed a nerf because She-Hulk is everywhere, let's be honest. So let's see what they say. I try to give my opinion first so it isn't alienated by what they say, you know. She-Hulk is a key component in the strongest Shuri decks. Oh, and also you use Shuri, She-Hulk in Shuri, of course. I always use that strategy when you don't play anything on turn 5 and on turn 6 you drop a She-Hulk that had been shooted on the turn 4. And at the same time you drop Taskmaster, so you drop 220 power cards on the last turn out of nowhere. That was fucking insane, brother. So doing this now, you can only do it at 18 and 18, so you are losing 4 power in there. It is still strong, but not as strong, right? But it is widespread play in various decks thanks to its strength alongside Sunspot, Wave, and Monger. Of course, you also have the other deck when they play Monger and they have 2 She-Hulks and they deploy 2 She-Hulks plus Infinite and stuff like that. It is insane. We mostly think that's cool, but that she's more powerful than she needs to be for those combos, exactly. In addition, we want to encourage playing actively 2 locations rather than holding cards for explosive turn 6. Exactly, that game philosophy where you are holding back and not playing, it is not fun, brother. It is stupid. Encouraging that player behavior, it sucks, brother. So we'll continue to weaken a few of the best cards for the latter. Okay, I agree with this. And yes, you didn't have to completely destroy the card. 1 point is enough. I know that at this point, the 1 point nerf is kind of a meme. People meme on the 1 point nerf. But in this case, brother, it is the best thing they could have done, in my opinion. And the same goes for the Thanos 1 point, because at 11 you didn't need it. Do you need to nerf it more than that? Probably not. So in these 2 cases, I agree with the 1 point, you know. Well, you have the free Black Widow. You can get the free Black Widow if you want Black Widow, or you wait till it rotates out and it gives you another card for free, of course. Oh, boys, check this out. Check this out. And it says here, the new release. But it didn't separate the shop. It showed up in the only shop that I have. It didn't separate the shop. But at least it showed up. I am going to pin it. I am not going to buy it yet because we are going to buy it in a little bit when we come back to play the game, brother. But we have it there. We have it there. Brother, where is the fucking leash nerf? Second dinner. Apparently there is not one. Apparently there is not one. Nothing else. C4 cards I purchased with tokens have been changed. It is the name of the game. That is why they specify like 70 times. We are not going to give you refunds because they know that this stuff can happen, you know. And that is what hurts because tokens are so valuable and you can waste them. The whole system, well, let's not get into that, brother. You know what I think about the system. Maker 690 is good. She can be contested a little bit more now. Yes, I agree. Still can pull off an 18 power She-Hulk then Taskmaster on the final turn, which is still gonna be pretty powerful. I agree completely. The deck is not going away. It is just losing power. And for some people, that is how you should balance the game, right? We don't want the deck going away because there is people that like the archetype. We want the deck to not be the best deck, but we don't want the deck going away. So maybe this is the correct approach. Maybe they don't want the deck going away and they are bringing down a little bit the power, but staying in there and continue to see how the deck performs, right? So I kind of agree with this approach. I know there are some whiny people that don't think about the stuff and they want to see the Shuri deck obliterated, but that is not how stuff should work, my brother. Have a little, I don't know, think a little bit of this stuff. And I know that I am impatient, but sometimes we have to be patient. See, I told you, no separate shops. I had separate shops, but I bought the Orka. They gave me Orka for free, my brother. I have the shop separated Series 3 from the Series 4 and 5. I did. The free one for me was Orka. It was the only Series 3 card I didn't have, and I got it for free. And then I have the only thing that they can show me now are the Series 4 and 5. Are you going to check data mines? Of course, my dude. We are going to check the data mines after this balance review, my dude, for sure. Making a card lose a bit of power gives people a different perspective of that card, even if the card is still pretty powerful. Yes, sometimes people think, oh, no, the card is dead now. She-Hulk isn't dead, brother. She-Hulk is still good. Brother, it's always a small number of people being the loudest about changes. Sometimes it is a big amount, but yes, sometimes it is small. What I want to be big is we are whining about the whole collection system because it is stupid. That is what I want to be, a big amount of people. After getting the free Series 3, leaves a message saying something like you see next is, yes, where's my 16 cubes? Where's Mephisto? That is one that I am waiting for, my dude. Eagerly waiting for Mephisto. Yes, it is not a chop. It is not a chop per se. Let me show you. This is the chop, right? This is the token chop per se when I buy the stuff for tokens. And then it says here, choose your card. Earlier today, when I saw in here, I had an Orka in here, and it was separated from this one. And the Orka was offered to me for free. It was not a chop because I didn't have to buy anything, but it was essentially the same as this chop, but for free. It showed you the card, it said 8 hours until the rotation, and it just said claim because you don't have to pay anything. So I got it because Orka is the only card, but if you have several cards, so this card is going to rotate every 8 hours and you can get the card that is in there for free. And it is separated from this one, which is only Series 4 and 5, where you do buy with tokens, my dude. I hope this clarifies it for you, my dude. You can, if it didn't, you can say to me, of course. Let's go back to the other screen. There we go. There is no Series 3 shop, brother. That is one of the controversies that was in these days, because they said that there is no way of purchasing Series 3 cards with tokens. Yo, Zoom89, my dude, thank you very much for the follow. You're fucking awesome, brother. You're fucking awesome. I hope you are enjoying the stream and you continue to enjoy, my dude. Thanks a lot for the follow. So yes, Exot, they said that now you cannot buy Series 3 cards with tokens. They completely removed the ability to do that. You can only get one free Series 3 a month, and that's it. That is what they did. And of course, some people took that change as a stupid change because they wanted to buy Series 3 cards with tokens, and that is another thing completely, brother. Another play, my dude. Subscribe for 3 months straight. You are fucking awesome, my brother. Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot, my dude. You are fucking awesome, dude. Oh! Thanks a lot, my brother. Maybe if you had a Series 3 pin before they dropped it, stayed for you and it's going to stay until you purchase it or unpin it. Oh, that could happen, exactly, if you had pinned another card. So then there isn't a Series 3 shop. That sucks. Yes, exactly. It is a free Series 3 card, but it is not a shop per se. But it functions the same as a shop in the rotation of the 8 hours. I claim that serving man, but I don't know what deck to use him in. I wish I could say to you using in this deck, but I don't have any idea either right now, brother. Didn't they also say they will separate Series 4-5 from multi? Yes, they said they are going to do that, but they didn't in this patch, which is stupid because I wanted that change, brother. No EDA for it, of course, at the same as everything. So what they say about, oh, we read what they say about She-Hulk. Aero, this is another good one for people, brother, because A lot of people have been asking for an Aero nerf for a long time. And yes, motherfucker, I know that you don't pronounce it Aero, but I don't give a fuck. I like saying it like that. Do you have a problem, dude? So yes, we have Aero. It was a 5/7 on reveal. Move all enemy cards played this turn to this location. It was really strong. That ability is really good because if you are ahead at 2 locations, you play Aero on the 3rd one and you win the game. There is nothing to do about it. Now they gave it a 5/8, so it is above on the power, so I expect a nerf on the ability. On reveal, move the last enemy card played this turn to this location. Wow. I believe this is a good change, and maybe I am on the bad side of history in here. Maybe I am. I can be wrong, brother. I don't know about this shit, but I believe this is a good change. Why? Because a lot of times, hear me out, a lot of times people only play 1 card on the last turn. You have to remember this. There is not all decks aim to play several cards on the last turn. There is a lot of decks, including the shooty decks, that play only 1 card on the last turn. And in that case, Aero functions exactly the same as before, in case they only play 1 card. You understand me? And that is what, 50% of the scenarios. Now, in the other percentage of scenarios, people need to be more strategic about this and think about what is the last card they are going to play. Now, you as the person playing Aero, if you are expecting them to play several cards, yes, this is a considerable reduction in your strategy and in your power level, of course, in that specific scenario. But it had to happen because she was so strong, right? It had to happen. So I believe this is in line with what we expect, a nerf, but something that she can still be useful. And if she's a tech card, right? And if you want to counter decks like Shuri or decks that only play 1 card on the last turn, then Aero is really good yet. But if you want to counter decks that play several cards on the last turn, Aero is not your choice anymore. Now you have to look into something else, which is what we should expect, because Aero was an auto include in every fucking deck, brother. So I agree with this. Let's see what are the developer comments. Aero is a tricky card for us. The actual game balance for Aero has been healthy, and she fulfills a vital role in our game by providing interaction, especially against dangerously polarizing cards like Galactus. Yes, because if you are expecting a Galactus and you play Aero, you can move the Galactus to a lane where there is something there already, but you can still do this. Normally people play only Galactus on the Galactus turn, so you can still play Aero like that. It's important for Aero to be versatile and strong in order to be a widely playable tech card, but we don't want her pushing the majority of other 5-cost cards out of decks. Exactly what I just said before, and other tech cards, of course. In order, unfortunately, that's the behavior we're seeing. Exactly. Aero was an auto include, and if you wanted a winning deck, you have to place Aero in there. Aero can also be frustrating to see. Oh, and that is another thing. When they Aero you on the last turn and everything moves and you lose like that, it is frustrating. It is not fun, brother. It was like a leader, my dude. Denying players the option to play their own endgames. Exactly. This change seeks to keep Aero strong where she's needed, foster more competition among 5-cost cards, and add counterplay to make her more fun to play against. I completely agree with this. I am 100% on board with this change, my dude. In my opinion, this is cool. Still can call me Aero sucks now. Aero. Still can come in close, but nowhere near as good as used to be. Exactly. And people can now work around Aero. Play something good first, then something bad, so Aero drags that away instead. Exactly. But then now you have to count on that, right? So it offers more a strategic play from both sides of the fence, which is good in my opinion. Juggernaut Aero. I love Juggernaut. You guys know this. They're removing everything that's fun and nerfing everything. Homogenizing every card makes the game boring. That is one of the things that people are saying. Stop nerfing stuff and start buffing stuff. And of course I agree with that, but I also agree that there is stuff that has to be nerfed because it is too good, right? And I believe Aero is one of those cases. I don't know about the other stuff, but yes, we need more buffs, brother. Buff I don't know, crossbones, buff crystal, buff quake, buff all that stuff, my dude. The only reason I'm sad about the Aero nerf is that it's an indirect nerf to Juggernaut. That way about to pop up again. Why is it an indirect nerf to Juggernaut? Wouldn't you say it is a buff because now you are incentivized to play Juggernaut instead of Aero? Yo, Fox of Doom, my dude, how you doing, brother? I hope everything is cool and you are enjoying, my dude. Feels like this is another change that favors the bot infestation. Probably. Imagine if Quake buff let you choose. I hope they do something cool with Quake, brother, someday. Just beating us using my Dino deck. So if you're playing a Dino deck, what do you think about the Quinjet stuff that they did, my brother? And Crystal also needs a buff. Mystique, Absorbing Man, and Taskmaster. These cards now require the previously played card to be in play in order to copy its attributes. Here are their updated templates. Oh my dude. I don't know how I feel about this. Because it is kinda of intuitive and logical that of course the card has to be in play to copy the ability and the power and whatever. But at the same time, this is a nerf to all these three cards, right? Yes, a lot of the time when you Mystique something or you Absorbing Man something, it is in play. The one that is most affected by this is Taskmaster because you wanna copy something big and they can Shang-Chi that shit. So this is more aimed toward Taskmaster. But this is a nerf, my dude. This is a nerf. You have to at face value, this is a nerf for all three cards. And Absorbing Man wasn't the best card in the game either. Let's see what they say. This adjustment is part balance, part matching expectations. Exactly, I said it was like intuitive. A meaningful chunk of Taskmaster's strength in Shuri deck is his ability to copy a card's power, even if it's been destroyed by Shang-Chi or similar, of course. An interaction that someone often gets reported as a bug. So people see that and they report it as a bug. Hopefully this change weakens Shuri decks slightly and more cleanly matches players' intuition when they see these cards for the first time. Okay, I can see that. Of course I can see that. But at the same time, I don't know how I really feel about it. I will have to see it in practice because I feel it is a big hit for these cards, you know. Morbius power no longer updates in hand or in deck, only at a location. So this is just like for, I don't know, for reading issues, for clarity's sake. It is not a buff, not a nerf. We previously adjusted Morbius's power to update when he wasn't in play to simplify calculating his future power. However, this has proven a bit confusing in comparison to similar cards and also unnecessary given Morbius is often played very early in the game and isn't very hard to calculate. Yes, we're reverting this change, but we expect to add future functionality to Morbius and all cards with ongoing buffs to their own power that communicates the power in order to make these cards simpler to play with. I don't know why they complicate this stuff, brother. When I played Hearthstone always managed to tell you what a card would do, what power a card would have, if a card ability was going to be activated in the UI without having to change any of the interactions. Why is it so hard for Marvel Snap to do this same shit, brother? You can say to me, Morbius is going to have X amount of power without changing that his base power is 0 and he interacts with 0 power with cards like, for example, Mr. Negative. You can do this. The technology exists, Second Dinner. Why are you overcomplicating something so simple, my dude? Nulls. And yes, Null is the other example. Let's see what they say about Null. Null's power still updates in hand, but no longer updates in deck. Developer comments. The future improvements discussed above will also apply to Null, but until we make them, he will continue to function differently relative to Devil Dinosaur and others. The reason for this is that it's very important for Null players to be able to quickly and precisely calculate his power while making endgame decisions about their 6-cost card. Exactly, I agree with this. That is why I think that it is cool that you show me in the card how much power he's going to have. But at the same time, how hard is it to not giving the power until he is on the board, motherfucker? Don't you have a way of overlaying the power in there and he is still really at 0 power while he is in your hand? This is not something so complicated or hard to understand, my dude. I don't get it, brother. I don't get it. As a placeholder adjustment, Null will no longer update his power in your deck. So his functionality with Mr. Negative, yes, people have been asking for this, and yes, it is cool that it functions now. I agree with this and I like it. But again, this shouldn't be a problem in the first place, because if you wanted to show me Fox of Doom, my brother, thanks for the follow, my dude. Thanks for the follow, my brother. You are fucking awesome. I hope you are enjoying and you keep enjoying, my dude. So yes, as I was saying, this shouldn't have been a problem in the first place, because it is cool that you want to show me what power Null is going to have. I like it. I love it, because I need to know that information. But you don't have to give him the power in the hand to give me that information. You can just show it in there, but in the coding in the game, he's still at 0 power, because he has an ongoing ability that gives him the power. This is not hard to figure out, brother. And I am not a programmer, brother. And maybe that is the problem. Maybe a coder can say to me, no, that is hard to pull off. But Hearthstone did it, brother. Hearthstone did it 6 years ago, brother, or more. I don't use Quinjet, lol. Oh, so you're fine, brother. You're fine. That would be too strong in my opinion. Watch it. I don't know. Brick bounce decks. It affects bounce decks, of course. But that nerf was good because there's so many decks using Quinjet more than Dino. So don't really affect me. Yes, I agree completely. Makes sure Red Skull less viable, since if they destroy Red Skull, yes, that is what they are trying to do with Taskmaster. I still think they will be viable, but not as strong, since you can trigger them in those situations. Yes, it doesn't affect much Mystique and Axoriman, but it affects more Taskmaster. I think you'd have to be a big dumb to think that was a bug. I agree with you, but you know how people are, my brother. You know how people are. Making patches according casuals bug reports. This change is weird. Makes it so that people now have to remember how many cards have discarded, which are cause of headaches for some people. Exactly, just because they can't cook the shit properly, brother. I kinda want Collector to update in hand so that he's more viable, but maybe that'll make it too strong. The Collector is... You have to remember that the Collector is a nerfed card. The Collector in the beta was one of the strongest cards in the game. So I believe he's cool like he is. So, we continue aquí. Aquí, I say aquí in Spanish. We continue here, brother. Aquí is here. Notably, he will use his potential power for effects like the peak location until we're able to make our desired improvements that attack we decide to accept for. This is exactly what I am saying, brother. And yes, I like that now you can Mr. Negative the Null. That is fucking cool. They are improving it. It is better than it was. But brother, why do you have to give him the power in hand if it is an ongoing ability? Do you understand that the problem here is that you are coding badly this shit, and that it shouldn't be a problem in the first place, because all you have to do is keep the card as is and just show me visually what the intended power is without giving it per se. Is this a hard idea to grasp, motherfucker? Widow's Bite, text only. While this is in your hand, cards in your deck cannot be drawn. This is the old text, and now it says, while this is in your hand, you can draw cards. It is an improvement. Of course, it is an improvement, brother. Developer comments. Widow's Bite inaccurately described its in-game effect. While we consider updating the effect of Widow's Bite to only prevent drawing your own cards and effects like Cable from drawing your cards, we ultimately decided it was a better experience to just simplify the text and keep the current effect rather than create these edge cases. I agree completely. I like this change. It is not a big deal, but it simplifies things, and in the future it prevents with the stuff from happening, brother, which is cool. Bug fixes, I am not going to read all that shit. And no nichos list, I am not going to read all that shit. So yes, we went over the whole balance patch, and yes, there are cool changes like the division of the token show, but it isn't completed yet. We have the drop on the cast that is cool for me. I got Orka for free, which is pretty cool. And we have the balance changes that, for the most part, I agree with them. What is the thing that people say? No changes to Shuri, no changes to Leech. And that is the controversial stuff, that they didn't change Leech, that they didn't change Shuri directly, they didn't change Logio. So we have to wait and see what happens with those cards. But with the cards that they did change, for the most part, I agree. So, but there still exists the early Leech with the Time Stone or with the Logio. So let's see what happens, brothers.